So I'm going to ask you all to do me a favor, play along with me, okay, just for a bit. If you're able to, if you could show me your hands, all right? You're able to raise two hands, show me your hands. I want you to look at your fingers. What would make you cut off two of your fingers? Right? Probably very few things, but that's what it's like giving up 20% of your business. Go ahead, you put your hands down, especially if you don't have to. And the reason why I say, and I bring this up is, as you know, I'm a business consultant. So all I really deal with are problems. When people's businesses are going great, I don't even hear from them. Never even hear from them. When their businesses are not going great, that's when they call me, text me, chat me. And one of the major reasons that they call me is that their partner is not doing what is expected or what they promised, or someone got sick, someone got married, someone got divorced, someone's situation changed. So, and then as I dig deeper into these relationships, I find that, and usually the person who's leading often had the idea in many cases. They were the ones who got started, who got the business started, but they didn't have enough money to hire someone to build a website, do marketing, do the technology, do a certain part. And so instead, they said, well, look, I'll just make you could be a partner and you could help me build the business. Where instead, if they had just gotten their credit together, saved money, or maybe just did some of the hard work themselves, got on YouTube and learned how to do the thing and just toughed it out and did it, or phased their business's growth and they would use revenue to pay people, they could have kept 100% ownership of their company. I see it literally every week. Someone calls me about this every week. And it's not that I'm against partnerships. If you have a partner that's great, amazing. Like if your partner shares the risk with you, if your partner increases resources, if your partner brings a diversified skill set and more experience, if they increase the motivation of the team, if they have money and they can really help things grow faster, or maybe they have good connections, okay. But if it's just that you just didn't have enough money to pay them to build a website or pay them to do something, or maybe you were just a little scared, or maybe you were just married to them, hey, it is what it is. I see it every day. So I want you to think about that. And I'm not saying it's too, maybe it is too late for some, but if you're thinking about, hey, you know what, maybe I should take on a partner, I would say, hey, maybe you should just get your credit together. Just get a loan, just pay people to do the work, 1099, pay them as an employee. And then when they're done the work, let them go and keep all of your fingers. So there are lots of ways to manage your money. Okay. And, this is what we usually recommend with clients who are having challenges, especially if they're having an audit coming up, having an audit come up, if they're having trouble figuring out what they're going to do. Like they can't even do their cash flow because they don't even have a way to track their money. They don't have an accounting system, something like that. In those cases, we'll start here with this chart. I know it looks a little complicated, but I'm going to explain it. We try and blow it up a little bit. So this box right here, revenue from sales, this green box at the top. Oh, and here's our business owner in the middle. She's happy because she has her accounts together. So I'm going to start here on this right side of the screen. This is the business side. So the revenue comes in from sales, and then it goes into your business checking account, hopefully. Okay. So if you're mixing your business and personal accounts, please stop. So your business of money should go into your business checking account. And then if you see here, you see these blue boxes kind of protecting your checking account. That's on purpose. I designed it like that on purpose because I think that's what they can do if you use it, right? So you've got a business line of credit. Okay. So you see this arrow, how it goes both ways. That means that money can come from that account and you can use money to pay it back. So to a lender, they want to see a line of credit balance go like this, like a heartbeat. You run it up, you pay it down. You run it up, you pay it down, like a heartbeat. Whereas here, this business term loan box, this is some capital you've gotten from a lender. And then so that money is just one way. It goes into your account. All right. And then what you're doing is over time, the bank balance gradually decreases, but you're making steady monthly payments that are usually the same amount every month for 5, 7, 10 years, whatever the term is. Okay. Then you've got business credit cards. Now, I love business credit cards because to me, they are a great way to give me a little time if I need it, if my money from here is running a little slow. And so if it is, then I could use my business credit cards in many cases to pay for rent, travel, materials, pay some vendors, maybe even pay some bills that accept online payments. And what this does is it allows me to have a little time. Now, if I need the time, then it may give me 30 days in case my money is slow. But maybe it's just that I just want to take advantage of the points. So I'm able to actually pay the rent in the office with my credit card. They accept credit card, ACH, whatever. And then there is a charge, but the points I get every month, free travel, free hotels, free everything. It's amazing. So I want you to at least consider, and now you have to manage it right. I mean, so if I use my credit card, then of course I have to pay it off. I try and pay it off the next month. If I have to roll it over, I definitely try and make sure I'm under 35% or lower as far as my bank balance, my credit card balance. If not, that could, obviously bring my scores down. And we'll talk more about business credit scores in week 6. So if you want to read ahead and learn about that, you're definitely welcome to go to week 6 and watch past videos. Next, here in this orange box here, these are things that you have to pay cash for or pay a check. And once again, that money would come out of your business account. You see here, payroll comes out of your business account. You pay your employees in 1099s. And of course, you pay yourself, hopefully. Now, this is important. A lender wants to see you paying yourself regularly, even if it's $500 every 2 weeks. And it's not that you're taking out cash. What it really is that you can show an electronic, you can track it electronically, money coming out consistently from your account and going into your personal account. This is very, 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 very important. Now, look, I've been in business 20 years. I don't always pay myself. Sometimes I have to, money is not the way I thought it would be, not coming in like I planned. So I pay my team and then I wait to get paid and then I pay myself. So if that's happening to you, look, that happens to all of us from time to time. But I want you to properly price your products and services so that you are paying yourself consistently. If you ever sell your business, if they buy it, they want to see that you are paying yourself. So now the money is coming to you. It goes into your personal checking account. Hopefully you've got some personal savings and investment accounts there. Hopefully you took advantage of the market being down these last couple of months because stocks were on sale, but they're starting to come up a little bit. So then you've got your personal credit cards over here where, you're using them to pay your personal expenses. If needed, and you may decide, hey, well, I don't really want to do that. That's totally fine. But you should be strategic in how you use your cards, keeping them under 30%, paying them on time, and actually make sure that you're not running up the balance and keeping it high when these creditors report to the credit bureau. Often it's between like the 15th and 17th of the month. So I try and make sure I pay everything down or off by the 10th or 12th. So when they report it to the credit bureau, my balances are low. It's a little trick. You should call your creditor and see when they report to the bureau. And you just make sure you keep your balance low when they report. Pay off those expenses. And of course, there's some things you have to pay with cash or checks. Now, you may decide to do it a different way. I know there are lots of ways you could probably figure out how you want to manage your accounts, but this usually works pretty well. Just keeping in mind that you have to maintain a separation of your business and personal money and be able to show everything, because this also sets you up to have a really strong accounting system. Because when that money comes in to your business checking account, you should have an accounting system attached to it so that it can see these debits and credits. It can see these debits go out. You can see these credits go in from sales. And then you categorize those debits and credits properly. So then you can have what's called a good chart of accounts. Those are the categories in your accounting system. I don't recommend you do that. I recommend you pay someone to do it for you, someone who knows your industry, because that is the foundation for your profit and loss reports, your balance sheets, your, all the reporting in your payroll, I'm sorry, in your accounting system is based on you properly categorizing your debits and credits. It all ties together, and then it allows you to have the proper reporting for your tax preparer to do your taxes properly. This is how it works. So if you don't have, it's like when you go into your accounting system, it just says consulting or it just says income, and you can't tell where the money is. That's one of the reasons why it's so hard for you to do your cash flow, because you don't know how your money is coming in and from where. Or you just have expenses, big, broad expense categories. That's why it's hard to do your cash flow expenses, because you don't know what's coming in and out of your account. Being able to tell, being able to see allows you to make changes and run your business better. So sustainability, what does it mean to you? I really want you to think about this, because not all businesses are 20-year businesses. And I've been fortunate to have a 20-year business, but when I started, I didn't plan like that. I mean, I was 30, 32, something like that, 33. I just wanted to make some money. So, but having been in business 20 years, I see so many mistakes I made. I didn't know, but so many things I could have done differently. But for you, some of you are newer, some of you have been in business a while. I really want you to think about, what does sustainability mean to you? Is this a 20-year business? Is this a 30-year business? Is this a 10 or a 5-year business? Is this something to prepare for your retirement? I saw a stat yesterday. Actually, I heard a stat yesterday from one of our wealth management partners, and she said that the majority of people start planning for retirement in the U.S. at age 50. So they're trying to get the money together to have some kind of retirement. I'm not sure where you are in that, but I want you to start to think about how you can use your business as a tool so you can retire comfortably. Think about it. I also want you to consider, when it comes to having a sustainable business, what will you offer customers in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Who will your customers be? You may not be in the same business. I don't sell, actually, it's interesting. I started off my company, we would build call centers, helping mortgage companies build their call center team, put the technology in, create the phone systems. As technology was developed, this was, 20 years ago, as technology was developed, it didn't take as much effort to build everything. And we had landlines, and it was, it was waiting 30 days for Verizon to put the hard line in so we could even get started. That was 20 years ago. Now, and I didn't even plan it. It's just AI came along, and I saw that, wait a second, I can use the same skills I did to build call centers and put in AI call centers for a fraction of the cost. I could do it by myself, and businesses could save like thousands of dollars a month. I mean, the AI tool can AI, Call Willow can answer 1,000 calls at a time. For a call center like that to handle 1,000 calls at a time, we would need like 700 people and still have people on hold. I mean, imagine the cost, right? Alexa, what's 700 times 30,000?
700 times 30,000 is 21 million.
$21 million to answer 1,000 calls and have people on hold. AI could do it for like $99 a month. So one, if I want you to think about, as you are considering your business long term, one, you're not going to know what's going to happen. You're not. We can't read the future. We have no idea what's going to come. Anything could change. All we can really do is just try and plan. Okay? You have to read the market, look for signs, make decisions, move. Don't wait. The quickest to market usually does the best. But that's your decision. But I want you to start to plan, will your customers still need this in 10 years? I mean, think about AI, think about all the changes, think about all the changes to the economy and changes to the way people work. Will they still be your customers? You see these circles, your value proposition, that's the top circle. The circle on the bottom right is chaos in the market, the need in the market. I always talk about find a need, fill a need, get paid. That's the need in the market. And then that left circle is the issues that people will pay you to fix now. That's the get paid part. So where these overlap, that's what you should sell. And this will change. The things that people want to pay to, fix now will be different circumstances in 10 years. So all I have to say is I just want you to start thinking about it, because you're going to need something to sell so you could, in 10 years so you can retire comfortably. I want you to think about, when you think about retiring comfortably, that means you have to have a profitable business between now and then. Have you ever money's been coming in great, everything's good. If everything just stays the way it keeps going, everything will be fine. But then you have a downturn in your revenue. And it's like, oh my gosh. Because money's coming. But that downturn means you got to start dipping into savings. You got to start doing other things. Maybe take out a loan. It happens. So, but for you to be profitable, you have to and remain profitable. I recommend having access to capital. So then you're not eating up your savings. You're not having to do crazy sales and discount prices because you need the money. You have money you could dip into, pay what you need to pay, and then when you finally get paid, you pay it back. It's an essential thing for you to be profitable long term. So, and for you to do that, what can you sell? What needs to happen? What kind of access to capital do you need? Also, who are your customers? And how can you keep getting new customers? Please don't fall into the trap where you're working for a customer, and then the project ends, and then all of a sudden you don't have any leads and you don't have any more customers, and you've got to work to try and get more customers. You should be thinking about business development every day. And I recommend at least having 20% of your week as a business owner focus on growth and focus on thinking about getting new business and writing proposals and go to pre-bid meetings and meet with potential big customers. If not, you're going to get stuck. I mean, your consistency in lead management, lead development, business development, that consistency every week, every month creates prosperity for you later. That consistency creates prosperity. Please remember that. All contracts come to an end. All situations change. This too shall pass. All of that is true. You have to plan ahead. You're going to change. Your situation is going to change. Your family is going to change. So what is your strategy long term? With being in the market, who you're going to sell to, the pricing you're going to have, how you're going to scale your business, add more staff, remain profitable, and create a business that's valuable so someone will buy it. It's a lot, but possible, very possible. That's what cash flow projections are for. That tool, I'll tell you, I've worked on that thing since 2000. Probably 16, perfecting it. I think perfecting it. This newest version, I'll show it to you, later on. I'm really proud of it. But you have the newest version actually, and there's an upgraded version, has like some bells and whistles to it as well. But it works. It allows you to plan. It allows you to talk to a lender, and you can do one for every single year for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and at least you have a plan. And it gives you a way to think about what you want to sell. As you think about the growth of your company, Here are 7 considerations. 1, what sets you apart in the industry? What do you do better than anybody else? What's your unfair advantage? Do you have enough capital? Do you have the right technology? Maybe you have some good relationships. And all those things change. Your relationships are getting older. They're going to retire. Technology changes literally every day. And as the market shifts, capital may or may not be harder to access. What issues are you going to be fixing next year? However the economy goes, we need to have a plan. Short-term plans, long-term plans, and you've got to be nimble so you can shift. I want you to think about, look at what happened to all those government workers. And what if they were your clients? What does that do to your money? And you probably, you wouldn't, no one saw that coming. At least most people didn't. To have, the most stable part of our economy gone. And actually, we haven't even felt the worst of it yet because those people are still getting paid. What happens in 8 months when they stop getting paid? 10, 20,000 people who may not understand entrepreneurship. If the job market is down, they may not be able to get a job. Imagine what that'll do to the housing markets of your real estate agent, a title company. You may or may not do well. If you're a real estate investor and you have some money, you may be great. You can swoop in and pick up properties. But if those people were your customers and they came to you every month to get their hair done, nails done, buy suits from you so they could go to work, maybe they came to your restaurant for food, for lunch, 8 months from now, it's going to be very different. So what are you going to do to plan for that? So when you're thinking about sustainability, this is a checklist I teach my newer consultants to follow. And I just want you to think about it. And I'm not going to read this right now, but I want you at least to later on take a look and see if you can check all these things off. What's your mission? And how is your mindset? Like, do you have like hey, I'm going to get money mindset, or is it more of a, hey, I just want to help people mindset? And both of those are fine. But if you're going to be in business, you've got to make sure you have a way to bring in money. How do you explain your basic value proposition? What are the real benefits you offer clients? If you can't explain it well and quickly and efficiently, a lender's going to think you don't know what you're doing. A customer is going to get confused and not buy from you. And it's okay if it's not right the first time. That's what marketing is about. You test, you test, you test. Whatever gets the best result, that becomes a champion. You make some tweaks, test, there's a champion, then there's like a test. You test the test and 20% of your ads, see what happens. It happens. That's part of the game. But I want you to think about this, or at least if you have time, go through this checklist now or later, just to make sure these things are in line. Or whenever you're worried about what do I do next, this is a great checklist to use to plan the next step. This and cash flow, hand in hand. Because for you to be able to have a comfortable retirement and for you to really be able to make a lot of money between now and then, you need to have someone running the day-to-day. And that may be technology, it may be a person, maybe even AI second in command. I don't see why that actually wouldn't be possible. I don't think that would be impossible, especially in the next few years. I might need to build that. But you need someone who is creative and who can take your idea and manifest it. So you can stay focused on growing the company. Also, so you can actually have some fun in your life. I hope you're not going to wait till retirement to go have fun. Shoot, you may not make it. So I recommend putting a second in command in place as soon as possible. And you focus on the thing that is most important. And that may be business development. Maybe no one can explain it like you do to customers. Maybe it's writing proposals. Maybe you are the one who creates the art and makes the stuff that your company sells. Great. But then you have other people who are doing the administrative work and doing the marketing and sales, whatever it is, that you have to figure that out in your company and delegate that work, create SOPs so they do it the way you want, and you'll grow. Sales and SOPs cure most problems. Sales and SOPs cure most problems. Sales and SOPs cure most problems. If you're not sure what to do next, work on sales and SOPs, and you'll be okay. Because you need a great team. You need them. There's no way I could do what I do without my team. I mean, you guys see me talking, and you're just starting to see more people on the team. There's like 20 people that make a cohort run right. Like 20 people. You meet them a little bit along the way. It's not just me. So whatever you're doing, I want you to think of, and if it's just you by yourself, okay, let's create some jobs, let's create some opportunity, but also let's make a lot of money. You need people, you need systems to make a lot of money. That means you're going to need SOPs so you can teach people to do the day-to-day work. And if you're like, hey, Will, you know what? I hear you, but it's hard for me to find people. I get it. Then in every single cupcake you sell, there should be money to cover a recruiter. Because the same way you're good at what you do, a recruiter is good at finding people for you, to work for you. So every cupcake, there's a recruitment fund. And that goes to pay a recruiter to find more people to sell your stuff, to sell your cupcakes, while you focus on opening that second location. It's really important that you focus on building a profitable system. Because once you build one and you put your team in place, that frees you up to build a second and a third. It's very important. That's how you make a lot of money. So AI, I'm going to talk about this throughout, but here's this is important. I encourage you to begin to consider embracing AI. This simple chart right here, this represents how my company was when I first got started. It was just me. I was doing all the consulting, all the work, marketing, building websites, cleaning the floor, whatever it is, I was doing all of it. And customers would at that time, at first, we weren't even on social media. I didn't get on social media until 2009. So in 2006, it was just, I think I built my first website. I built my first website, I think 2005 for the company. I was building them since like 2000. And I built it for the company. I didn't really understand how to get traffic or anything like that. Most people didn't back then, but people would call, people would send me emails, but we weren't on social media. Over time, we were. I think it was like 2000, I want to say 2009 or 10. But then I saved my money, reinvested it, and I got an admin. Still, as you can see, I'm in the center of everything. She's asking me questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? All the customers are asking me questions. I'm, still doing most of the work, but she is doing some administrative things, and it is helping me. And the company was like that for a few years. And then I was able to add more people because I was starting to get projects more consistently and bigger projects. And I remember when I got my first government contract, I was it was a DoD contract, and it was $532,000. I was like, thank you. And I was able to hire people long term instead of chasing 1,000 here, 500 here, 10,000 here. We had money set up for the next few years, and I could build a team. And it was like that for a while. Still, I was in the middle. I'm running the team. I'm teaching them. I'm telling the admin what to do, and I'm talking to the customers. Then I got a COO, and there was a COO before Dr. Holmes. And so, that they did a great job. Just, things happen. And then I was able to find Dr. Coles, but then I had to teach Dr. Coles. And then I had to teach, I had to still work with the team. And I did work with admin. I'm still talking to the customers. And the admin at this point, though, I had written some SOPs and some templates. So she was able to start to take social media, handle social media and handle email. Then Dr. Coles understood what she needed to do. So then she could manage the team and I didn't have to manage them anymore. And she, and essentially we just check in. Then, I'm still working with the admin. That part's still there. I'm still in the middle of everything. And this may sound familiar to you. Then AI happened. I did not expect it. But as you see, I'm not in the middle of everything anymore. Call Willow handles phone calls. I don't even answer the phone anymore. And she sends qualified leads. On the web, we started to build chatbots, AI chatbots that answer questions, then send qualified leads. And the qualified leads go to the team. And Dr. Coles manages the team. I'm still not involved. Then social media and email create leads because we've gotten better with that. Admin is still asking me questions though. Then we put AI into social media. I'll show you some of those tools, coming up. And we put AI in email. And I just did this recently. We use a tool called Fixer. It is amazing. It categorizes all my emails because my email box is out of control. That's why I told people just to chat me. It categorizes all the emails. It doesn't respond to the email. What it does is it queues up a response because it reads the email that they sent to me, queues up a response, and 99% of the time, and it gets better over time because it reads my emails and it sees how I usually respond. And then when I make little subtle changes, when it queues up for me, it learns. So now it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. I just hit send. It's great. Actually, hey, Barbara, the email I sent you today, AI wrote that. That's why it was so good. So it's great. It is fantastic. And it totally takes me out of the day-to-day. I'm free. Well, people will say, well, Will, why do you teach the class? Because I like it. Like, I love this. I don't know if you could tell, but this is exciting for me. I love it. And I only teach like 1 hour. You'll see tonight, the rest of the team comes on. So this frees me up to do what I want to do in the business, create new AI stuff, reach out to customers, write proposals. Dr. Coles runs everything else, and AI makes sure everything else is coming in properly. We're not wasting time anymore. So consider it because it's here and it's not expensive. So it's not the cost that's the issue. It's whether or not you're ready. Your competition is. So now I want you to think about what happens when you don't miss your revenue goals. You probably go, we understand that, Will, but let me just point it out because you're trying to be comfortable in your retirement. That means you've got to hit your goals every day between now and then. Because your projections are based on you hitting them every day. So what happens if you don't? Financial instability, you keep missing your numbers. It's going to make it difficult to pay bills, meet payroll. That keeps happening. That's going to cause lack of confidence in your employees and your staff, and their morale will suffer. That means probably your customer satisfaction will suffer, and that means you'll have less customers, so your market share will erode. You'll have a smaller market share. And then, depending on how your business is set up, it's easier for you to go into bankruptcy. It's easier for maybe one of your partners to buy you out, try and save you because you don't have any money, or someone else to come from outside because they have capital. They can come in, fix the things you couldn't fix, and then now they have your very profitable company. We have to hit these goals. It's not okay. It's not okay to miss. If you miss this month, I need you to make it up next month. It's not okay. Because have you ever seen compounding interest? The difference $100 makes, that $100 you didn't make this month. I looked at it, I looked at $20,000 the other day. You know, if $20,000, you could take $20,000, put it in a high yield interest rate, 4.5%. In 6 months, you'll make $500. But $5 or $6 less, $7 less, it's only like maybe like $350. That's just in 6 months. Every dollar counts because this is your retirement. What happens if you outlive your money? So when you're pricing your products and services, I need you to think about long term. It's not just a hot dog you're selling. Every single hot dog you sell, every cupcake you sell is a tool that will allow you to retire comfortably. Every dollar counts because that dollar is compounded over interest or it's invested with an 8%, 10% return, maybe more. Every dollar counts. You'll wish for it. You'll wish for it. You'll wish you had gone harder when you're older because you don't have enough money to live the way you want. I don't want that for you. So with your pricing, it needs to have the cost of the batter, obviously, but also any other materials and production, your current labor costs. So let's say you have someone else do it for you. They take an hour to make 12 cupcakes. Okay, great. That's $15 that you paid them. So that's $1.25 across all the cupcakes as far as cost. There's marketing costs, there's other overhead costs, rent, debt, utilities. Then you need to pay yourself, and you have to have profit on top. Who will buy a business from you if they don't get paid every 2 weeks or whatever, and the profit stays in the company? That's different. The profit and you getting paid, that's two different things. Should be anyway. But it all comes down to how you price your products. And if you don't know these numbers that make up these elements, you have no idea how much money you're making per sale, which means you have no idea how your retirement's going to be for you and your family. You're doing yourself a disservice. And you're jeopardizing the financial stability of your family and your future. Well, Will, they may not, you're talking about raising prices. They may not want to pay. Okay, maybe they're not your customer. Or maybe you're not creating enough value. We talked about this, I think, last week, at least a little bit. I mean, I know that some of you have, like if you have kids, maybe you pay for private school. If you like nice purses, and maybe you buy fancy, expensive bags instead of going to Walmart and getting a $20 bag. Or maybe you like fancy cars and you pay $50,000 for a car where you could pick up a Honda Accord, 86 Honda Accord, and get from place to place for like $2,000. Or, get yourself something for like, $20,000. Or even brand new for $35,000, but it won't be as fancy. People pay more for things that they value. So if you understand the value that if you understand what your customer finds valuable, they will gladly pay for it. The same way you gladly paid all that money for that truck or that purse. So I'm going to talk about food real quick, just for a little bit. When you're considering your pricing for food, and this does relate to you'll see the parallels. When we work with restaurants, this is where their money is. Recipe management. And this is exactly how I ask them to think about this so that they can get their money right and become profitable again. And you may see some parallels. So imagine you're making a batch of cupcakes. And you see how I said batch? Not just making one, because you're not just making one cupcake at a time. You're making probably 12 at least, right? Or however many fits into the little pan or fits into your oven. Let's say it's 12. Okay, what ingredients are involved in making a batch? Well, it's this and this and this, and then I also use some flour. Well, okay, well, what do the ingredients cost to make a batch? Well, I don't know, Will. I mean, it's only like an ounce of flour, and I get this out of this big bag. I said, well, you know how much the big bag costs. You know how many ounces are in that big bag. I need you to know how much it costs per ounce. Well, geez, Will, that's a lot. You must not want to make money. Call me when you figure it out. How long does it take to make a batch? About an hour. Okay. How many people are needed to make a batch? Well, just one. Okay. So what's the minimum wage? All right, $15. All right. So that's $15. How much does it cost to pay other people to make the batch? What do you mean, Will? Well, maybe there's someone to bake it, but then maybe someone has to deliver it to get it to the customer. Maybe someone has to go to the grocery store. What are your overhead costs for a month? How many do you plan to sell in a month? Why does that matter? Well, if your overhead costs for a month, or let's say $5,000, you plan to sell 1,000 of these cupcakes, then that's at least $5 that needs to go into the expenses and the cost of this and the price you charge your customer for the cupcake. The customer is paying for everything. If they don't pay for it, you pay for it. What actions do you need to take to hit your sales goal, and how much will it cost? Well, I've got to do some marketing. I've got to go to the grocery store. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to go get a loan so I can get all the ingredients. And then I've got to pay the loan back every month. And there's interest on the loan. How much profit do you want to make per cupcake? And then what SOPs are needed to teach your team to consistently produce a batch the same way each time? Imagine you go 1 week and the cupcake tastes great. You go back the next week, it looks different, the icing's off to the side, and it tastes funny. You're gonna go back? Maybe. Maybe you'll give them another shot. Then you come back the third week and it tastes totally different again. Again. No SOPs, no recipe management. And then look, right? You budget for a certain amount of cupcakes to be made in a month, but because they're using too much sugar, they're not paying attention, you run out of sugar before the month is over. You could probably see some parallels in your business because your people aren't doing what they're supposed to do because you haven't written the SOPs and you don't know the price, the cost of things. That's your fault. You're frustrated with them, be mad at yourself. You didn't train them right. That's it. Once you accept that and fix it, you'll make money. When you think about valuing your company, there are a few ways that, when you go to sell it, there's a valuation done. And so there's one way to look at it as a book value. You look at your assets minus your liabilities. An earnings multiple is they look and see if you have consistent revenue over time. Let's say, well, look, Will, I want to sell my business for $3 million. Okay, sounds great. Well, we can maybe get a 2 times or 3 times annual revenue because it's been consistent. So that means you've got to be at like 1.5 million every year for you to maybe get 3 million. And that depends on the timing, the economy, all of that. What people are willing to pay, what kind of loan they can get to pay you. So think about that. You've got to hit these goals consistently so you can sell your business at the level you want. So you can retire comfortably. Do you have an operating agreement? If you're an LLC, you're supposed to have one. Partnerships should have partnership agreements. Corporations should have bylaws. Like I said, many of the problems I see come because people don't have this in place. And so when things go bad, people start to argue. Someone wants to leave, someone gets sued, someone gets divorced, someone wants to leave the company, someone wants to sell the assets. Now there's conflict and there's no written agreement. What happens if someone dies? Without an operating agreement and you're an LLC, depending on what state you're in, the state's not going to come and help you manage your company. They're going to help you dissolve it, shut it down. And then it could be total chaos if nothing's in place. And then people, someone's children or someone's wife or ex-wife wants half now. So definitely make sure you have that in place, have an agreement in place if you have a partner, and make sure, or you're a, multi-member LLC and there are multiple owners, whatever, however you have it. This is a great conversation if you are troubled about this to have with a law mentor. So what should you be doing to make sure your company stays sustainable? Well, looking for opportunities, creating innovation. My Fridays are in my innovation days. 20% of the week I'm spent on thinking about how we can make some more money. I'm looking at immediate needs in the market. And I'm always trying to build some new relationships. Always. Most of my business comes from referral. Counties refer other counties to me now. That took a long time to build. Internally, I want you thinking about your goals and metrics because your team needs to know what to do so you can hit your goals. So if you want to make $1 million a year, that's $83,334 a month. That's maybe like 20,000 or so dollars a week. Maybe what, $4,000 or $5,000 a day. You've got 2 people working, doing sales. That means each of them have to do $2,500 a day. At least. I'd probably make their goal like maybe 3,000 or 4,000. So in case someone's sick or late, we still hit our goal. You've got to break it down like that. You have to train people properly so they can do what you need them to do so you can hit your goal. Because if you don't, you won't be able to retire on time. Will, I don't trust them. They don't love it like I love it. And they'll never will. But if you put things in place like standard operating procedures and good training programs, you do things to make them want to stay, you pay them properly, you give them raises to help them to offset inflation, there's a good chance they'll stay. If you create a vibe in that office where they're like, okay, I like it here. They actually care about us at least a little bit. They have a good plan for growth. This is not a dead-end job. This is an opportunity. They may stay. But you put these things in place and you trust the process and you monitor it. You set metrics based on performance so everyone knows what they're supposed to do. And you have a way that people know, like, look, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you won't be able to stay. This is a team. Everyone has to pull their weight. This is a team of high performers. If you're not a high performer, you can't be on the team. And we will release you and you can go off into the universe and find your destiny. You need to understand, hey, look, these key business functions, this may be people, it may be software, it may be AI, whatever it is, you should account for these in your budget. That cash flow, I hope you're starting to work on. You need to understand these key business functions. You need to have SOPs for these. And well, that's a CFO. I mean, I should have to tell them what to do. They handle your money and you're not going to talk to them about what they should be doing. So I need you thinking about these things. And then I gave you some details on each of the, what you should consider with each of those roles. I'm not going to read that to you. I want you to think about it. And when you have time, think about these things and the pricing, how much it'll cost you and your cash flow. And then finally, I'm going to go over this little checklist. I will actually read a lot of these to you. This is important. And I want you to think about these things and think about, can you say yes? And if you can't, it's not okay. It just means you need to work on these things so you can say yes later. Tax planning. And if you don't know the answers to these, every single thing I'm going to ask you, you talk to one of our mentors, they can help you. Do you have the right business entity for your growth and exit plans? Do you know how much you will pay in taxes based on your revenue goals? Do you know when is the best time to make your next business big purchase? Do you know which of your expenditures are actually write-offs? Do you know how much you should be investing to reduce your tax liability? Do you know how much you need to invest to offset inflation and provide for a comfortable retirement? These are questions you should be asking your accountant. And this time of year, this is exactly the kind of conversation you should be having to plan the rest of 2025. So when 2026 comes and they're doing your taxes, you're not surprised. Long-term planning. Do you have a will? Have you determined your beneficiaries? Do you have an estate plan? Life insurance? Do you have an executor of your estate name? Do you know who's going to run things in case you are incapacitated? And then eventually when you die, to make sure things go the way you want. Do you know the benefits of having a revocable living trust? Are you prepared for long-term care? What happens if you get dementia or you get a disability or you're terminally ill? When I was, so on January 25th, I mentioned it before, we had bad car accident. Lucky, not lucky, blessed to walk away. Me and my son. Totaled the truck. We were hit, this big white truck doing about 50 miles an hour. We were sitting on the light. And I've been teaching the same thing for like 4 years now. And I have most of these things in place. I thought I was good, but like I said, we walked away and I was a little beat up or whatever. But I realized, I said, oh shoot. If let's say I had been knocked out or something for like a number of days, no one could have done payroll. Like the company would have seized up. Now the classes actually could have kept going because we do this program in Spanish. So we could actually have the people who speak, and they're bilingual, people who speak Spanish actually would come in and teach. So that part would keep going, and money would come in, but there would be no way to get the money out. I realized, I was like, oh man. So things like that, unfortunately, I had good insurance, but things like that, if you're not prepared and your company seizes up, you won't be able to, pay things. So, I need you to plan ahead. Can you say yes to these? Have you defined what sustainability means to you and your team and the future of your organization? Do you actually talk to people? Because I can't consult myself on my business. I need really smart people to talk to. Like a lot of these folks you're going to see on this panel tonight, they're brilliant. I talk to them about, hey, Will, I'm thinking about doing this, Mr. Shivers. What do you think? Or Zoe, this is what I'm thinking. He's like, well, the tax planning, they give me things to consider. Do you have the right people on your team? Do you invest in your relationships? Do you stay focused on actually doing business development and sales? You have to. Do you have a clear vision of the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Do you have a way to make money easily, like a recurring business model? Do your customers and staff feel like you care about them? Do you fix a relevant, persistent problem? Has AI changed things in your industry? If it has not, it probably will. Are you ready for that? And then finally, can you say yes to these? I know my business will provide the financial support I need to retire comfortably. I have a succession plan in place, and I'm developing the next leaders of my organization. I'm building a company that will be of significant value if I choose to sell it. My health insurance, life insurance, will, succession plan, and final expense needs are addressed. And finally, I am confident that my family and future generations will be financially secure. If you can't say yes to all those things, you've got some work to do.